Greetings gastronauts, this is KeefCooks. I'm Keef and today I'm going to do something Indian and ricey and delicious and chickeny. I'm going to make chicken biryani. Our son and his girlfriend came up from that London last weekend and we went for lunch at a wonderful Carolyn restaurant in Leeds called Hyderabadi. And it's got a fabulous reputation, which is very well deserved. Those guys can cook. So we had about 1 million different dishes, mostly vegetarian. And actually, I think the only meat one that we got was chicken biryani. And it just reminded me how glorious this creation is. So I've done it before, but like 7 years ago. So I think it's time for a remake. If you enjoy this video, give it a like, share, subscribe, etc. And let's get on with it. Chicken biryani. So biryani is, well, it's quite a complex dish. It's not something you can just knock off in half an hour. It's going to take 3 or 4 hours, possibly a couple of days. Principally it's a rice dish, and what you got to do first is prep your rice. So that needs to be rinsed in about 5 changes of cold water until it runs clear, and then soaked in cold water for about 30 minutes. So that's the first batch of water, and you can see it's quite cloudy. That's the second batch, it's a bit clearer. I'm going to do the other 3, I won't bother showing you the individual ones because it's going to get quite tedious and take all afternoon. By the way, that was 250 grams of rice dry weight. I've got 3 red onions and they weigh 286 grams. They'll be lighter when I peeled them. And we want them in half moons, so just top and tail the onion, chop it in half. Get the skin off and slice it nice and thin. Now we need to fry these till they're golden brown and crispy. I'm not going to say caramelised because that takes ages and ages. So you should probably use a load of ghee or clarified butter. I'm just going to use ordinary butter and oil. You know, the oil has a higher smoke point, so it'll stop the butter from burning. Heat those up, get the butter melted, and then add the onions and stir them every now and again. And do it on low heat. You don't want to, you know, immediately get them scorched and blackened. That's not what we want. While the onions are cooking, I've got a bunch of mint and a big handful of coriander, and I'm just gonna chop them up. Okay, I reckon that'll do. So the onions are starting to crisp up, and we'll just give them a bit longer and then take them out and drain them and set them aside. Now we need to parboil the rice, so I've drained it. I'm going to chuck in a couple of bay leaves, half cinnamon stick, and I've got some green cardamom pods, some cloves, and about a half teaspoon of cumin seeds. And I'm just going to wrap them up in this little bundle of muslin cloth and pop that in as well. And the reason I'm doing that is because, you know, when the rice is cooked a little bit, we can take these things out easily and we won't end up crunching on them. So I've got water coming to the boil on the stove behind me. It's about 2 or 3 times as much water as you have rice. And once it comes to the boil, I'll chuck that in and we'll just cook it for about 4 minutes and then drain it and set it aside. Alright, now we need to marinate the chicken, and I should have done this like an hour ago, but I forgot. I didn't forget, I was busy with other things. So for the marinade you want 250 ml of plain yogurt and a teaspoon of ground cardamom, but I haven't got any. However, I've got whole cardamom pods, so I'll just squash those a little bit so their flavour will come out. Pop those in. Teaspoon of chili powder, teaspoon of turmeric, teaspoon of salt, 3 teaspoons of ginger garlic paste, and the juice of half a lemon. Mixy mixy. Now for the chicken, I've got 4 thighs and they've got bone in and skin on. and we want to get the skin off because that goes kind of flabby. I'll save that for something else, some schmaltz or something. So that can go in there. Get it nicely coated all over and do the rest of them. All right, put that in the fridge for at least half an hour, but overnight if you like. Okay, there is one more final job to do before we start, which is to make some dough, because what we're going to do is we're going to use a method called dumb. I'm going to use that cast iron casserole. You seal the lid onto it with a strip of flour and water dough, and that means that the steam can't escape, so it, you know, the biryani steams inside the vessel kind of thing. I know what I mean. Anyway, so some flour and some water. I think that was too much water, so pop a bit more flour in. And we'll just wrap that in plastic film, put it in the fridge to rest until we're ready for it. Okay, time to put it all together and cook it. So also what we need is a little bit of milk, possibly a couple of tablespoons, and a few strands of saffron, which I don't have. So I'm using a teaspoon of turmeric, and basically this is just for colour. So get the vessel that you're going to cook it in, and get your tongs, check they're working, and put your chicken in the bottom. Then we can add the marinade as well, just to make it a little bit saucy. Now take 1/3 of the rice and spread it in a thin layer above the chicken. Right, and then take about 1/3 of the coriander and mint, and sprinkle that over, and then 1/3 of the onion. Repeat. Put my little, a bit more bay leaf, bouquet garni. Could have done with a bit more rice, I think. There you go. More herbs. And more onion. And then the rest of the rice. And the rest of the herbs. And the rest of the onion, but save a little bit. Now I've got some of the fat that the onions were cooked in, well, all of it in fact. So I'll just put that in there and then make some holes right down to the bottom and pour in the turmeric and milk. Okay, now I've got my dough from earlier, and I'll roll that out into a sausage that's long enough to cover the circumference of the cooking vessel. Oh yeah. Right, let's see if this is long enough. Yeah. You can also seal the vessel with a couple of layers of aluminium foil, but this is more interesting looking. All right, pop the lid on. So what we do is put that on the stove, bring it to the boil, let it cook on high heat for 15 minutes, then turn it down to a really low simmer for another 30 minutes, and then it all should be done. Right, time's up, and well, I'm a bit worried about this because we have got steam leaking out of it, which shouldn't be happening, so we'll see. Ooh. Smells amazing. I've got a bit of chicken there, and that is definitely cooked. And I'm pretty sure the rice is as well. There we go then, taste test time. Oh, chicken. That is very nice chicken. And Bit of rice. Sorry, can't stop eating it. It's ooh, really, really good. Fabulous, delicious. So have a go. And thanks for watching. See you next time.